Hey everyone, my name is Powell from American Airsoft Factory. I'm Vice President here, and today we're going to do some videos to show you how to handle our guns. We use an 11.1 LiPo battery with a 25 to 50C discharge. You're good to use any battery between 10 and 12.6 volts. Your discharge can also be 20 to 40C discharge, but we prefer the higher discharge and the higher volt batteries because it makes the circuit run faster and you're going to get more FPS and you're going to be able to shoot more rounds per second. Alright, let's take a look at our magazines now. Removal and insertion are really easy. For removal, just like any other gun, push the mag release button. That shows that the magazine is loaded. Put in the new magazine and you're good to go. I just switched from a high cap mag to a mid cap mag. Our guns are non-proprietary for magazines, so that means you can use a high cap, mid cap, whatever you want. But we do have a few words of caution for that. A lot of magazines that we found have weaker feeding springs, which is a necessity for our gun. So if you have one of those magazines, there's a few different options for you to have. The first is to swap out the feeder spring, swap it out for a reinforced one. We've done this in our shop ourselves. It works great. Or the other option is to buy a new magazine with a stronger feeder spring already in it if you're afraid of breaking the mechanism. We're going to show you the selector switch on our guns. We have three main options: safe, semi-automatic, and automatic. For those of you who know, we used to have a burst fire, round fire, whatever you want to call it, 3-round burst option on our guns. But right now we had a little bit kink in that system with our CPU, so we're getting the programming fixed up so we can keep you guys going for your burst fire. One important thing that you're going to need to know about this selector switch is to release the bolt here in the chamber. What you're going to need to do is push the trigger 5 times semi-quickly while the gun is on the safe, or the selector is put to safe. And this will help you maintain the life of the battery and maintain the consistency of your gun. You do like this. You'll hear that sound, and that means that the bolt is released. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And then, as another precaution, you should take out your battery when not in use. So, removal is simple. Hold the tabs, remove the saw. Remove the battery. You can charge it, you can place it wherever. Just make sure while storing, the battery is not connected to the gun. You can even, so long as you do not connect it, you can place it just like this. Tuck everything in nice and neat. Should fit all inside just like that. Simple storage. We're going to show you how to adjust our hop-up system. So what you're going to want to do is dry fire the gun once to open the chamber, or you can pull it back with the charging barrel. It's a little bit harder to do if the spring has been released, but just pull back and it'll open up this as well. What I like to do, just use, it's in the metric system, it's a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench. I just get this little short end right here, place it in the gun, just like this. Turn it clockwise to lower the hop-up system, turn it counterclockwise to raise it up. We later will be manufacturing these, just in case that you're having a little bit of troubles inserting the Allen wrench into the gun. It's a really nifty thing. Just place it in there like that. Spring bends. You don't have to worry about your hands. You can turn it and it will turn. Very simple. Alright, if you want to get a better look of it, we have just an upper and a barrel with the rail on. Just look inside here. Another way to do it, get inside just like this after you take the barrel off. Just do it that way. It's pretty simple. This is what's inside the barrel. You change the hop up right here. Don't have to worry about too much else. This is the way it looks inside the barrel. This is where it loads from this left side right here for you guys. Enters, you change that, which changes the hop up. And we use a legacy AEG barrel. pretty standard. What we have here is just a cutout of one of our trial barrels. What you can see is this little plastic piece integrated into our rubber. So that's the main difference between our hop-up system and a different hop-up system. Our hop-up system integrated this little piece of rubber. It's based off the G-hop in Japan. Americans call it R-hop. That's what most of you are going to be familiar with. That's what we've decided to call it. So we integrated this into our rubber. So just like we showed before, this little nut screws down, increasing the pressure on our plastic piece, which then creates that hop-up that we all need in order to manufacture a header. So one last time, we've integrated this plastic piece inside our rubber. It gives us a little bit of an advantage. We've got the little notch in our barrel to raise and lower the hop-up system. We're going to show you a little bit of cleaning and care on our weapons now. One of the main things that you're going to want to do is make sure your chamber is oiled. These are all moving parts in here, just like a real gun. The bolt moves back and forth with each pull of the trigger, or if it's on automatic, each BB fired, I guess is a better way to put it. You're going to want to keep your barrel oiled as well. We use 3M silicone-based oil. Any silicone-based oil will work. We're not proprietary as far as that goes. And then make sure you wipe your barrel often if you couldn't sleep. Alright, we're going to show you a little bit of the disassembly here on our guns right now. First, we're going to show you how to remove and replace the motor. So what you're going to do is first, there would be 2 screws here that I've already taken off just to save us some time. Take off those 2 screws. We like to use some needle nose pliers, but anything will do. The recommended practice is to get underneath. First start with the negative wire, or the black wire, for those of you who may not know, and twist up and out. Don't just pull up, but twist up and out. Same process for the red wire, or the positive wire. As you can see what I'm doing, simply twist up and out, and then grab the main chamber like so. Pretty simple from then on. Well, with your fingers, you can remove and replace it, whatever you call it, the motor. Any legacy AEG motor works as well with this. We use this motor, but whatever works. Then we will now show you how to replace the spring on your gun in case it gets damaged or you want a higher powered gun. For note, when you order your gun, in case you haven't ordered your gun yet, when you order, you'll be given the option of ordering the reinforced spring or our standard spring. Those are sold separately on our website, so let's say you want to go to a milsim event, you want a little bit more power, they allow a higher FPS, whatever, you can use our reinforced spring there. But at your local area, you just want our standard spring to stay within their regulations. You can purchase those separately, but only one comes with your initial purpose. So, first thing we do is remove this front pin right here. Pretty simple, you just push a little bit hard, pull it out. Then, lift the dust cover. It just slides right off. Pretty simple, pretty unique. Set that aside for now, we'll need it. So if you haven't released the spring full forward, this is what it'll look like. You need to do that if you don't have a battery in there. There's another way. We can put a small screwdriver in this little socket there and twist. It'll release the spring. Make sure your hands are clear. Everything. Make sure the chamber's clear. If you're going to do it like me, point it at yourself. And then what we're going to want to do is remove the screws. When you disassemble the upper part of the gearbox, you will need 1 Phillips screwdriver. There are 3 screws. First screw I like to take care of is the one in the bottom right here. So you'll go into the magazine opening. Should apply a lot of pressure. The next screws are these 2 screws on this bar up here. Pistons can be bought separately as well. When you remove these 2 screws, it's nice to keep the bars together. That way it doesn't jump out at you or anything like that. It's not likely to happen, but it could. Once you've got that screw removed, it won't come all the way out. From there, pull it right out like that. Take this off. simple. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove this spring and bar up top. There is a washer in the front here. Be careful of that. It's pretty simple. You pull back on the spring, the bar attached. You remove that washer. It's a metal washer. Don't lose that. That's very important. Just pull the rod out. The spring should pop right off. The next step, pull the piston back, just like that. Your spring comes off. You remove your piston, place a new piston in. What we recommend is putting your spring inside the piston, and on the piston lock, and then you reverse the process. Make sure that your piston and chamber lock as such. That way you don't have any problems. And then I like to reverse with the bottom screw first. That way it locks the chamber in place. And that's disassembly. Assembly is just the reverse. So we're going to show you guys a little bit of the troubleshooting that we have in our user's manual. But in order to get the gun to feed in properly, I am going to do that myself. We do not recommend this for any other time. This is solely for you guys. We love you so much. That's what it should sound like when your gun jams. Now what you do, remove the magazine, get rid of all the BBs in there. Make sure that there's not any that are stuck in the top like there is here. So what we're going to want to do is remove it somehow. We like to carry a Phillips screwdriver, a tiny Phillips screwdriver with us. Just remove it. Another way you can do it is remove the pin, remove the upper of the gun, just like that. Really simple, really easy. You can see this BB's in there, but it shouldn't be a problem. Just push that, no big deal. But what we're worried about is this one up top. Any way that you want to remove it is fine. So it's jammed in pretty tight. Should pop out just like that. Check this side as well. Note that there's nothing blocking it. There's one in the chamber, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Make sure that there's no other issues. Upper. Push the bolt. Those were the ones that we saw in the connector. And you're good to go. Put that same. Ours is out of bolts right now. Easy. Throw that. Throw it in. Bolt release. We're going to explain high pitch grinding or weird sounds coming from the gun in our owner's manual. It's called that. We like to call it here in the shop alien noise. For those of you who know Brain Exploder, we had him test out one of our guns. It wasn't working as properly as it should have. He was like, I keep hearing these alien noises in the middle of the battlefield. So we've nicknamed it that. So after you hear those alien noises, what you're going to want to do is remove the magazine. Then remove your battery. Remove the battery, connect it back in. Put your stock back on. Put your stock back on. And then you should be ready to fire again.